Alright, they did it. As of recording this video, Bell Canada now offers the country's fastest internet package. 3 symmetrical, blasted gigabit internet service. Let's talk about it. Full disclosure, I paid full price for my 1.5 gigabit service that I originally had before I upgraded to the 3 gigabit service that I'm on now, and Bell gave me a 1-month bill credit for the difference so I can try it out. Not related to the YouTube channel, this was just me as a customer calling in. Now I know I don't need to disclose that because Bell has no say nor control over this content, but yay, honesty. They actually went and flipped the switch and created a 3 gigabit internet plan. That's symmetrical 3 gigabit. So that's 3 gigabit upload, 3 gigabit download. Let's just get this out of the way. Here's a speed test. And this speed test shows that this internet is amazing on a single computer if you have a computer with a 10 gigabit Ethernet adapter. More on why that matters a little later on. So the premise of a 3 gigabit internet connection in a residential home is preposterous. I mean, could you imagine how fast you could download games and movies and use cloud services and... Hold on a second. It's not all the roses that you might think it is. Let me explain why. Okay, it's fast, but the majority of computers you'd find in the wild or networking equipment you would find in a typical household only supports 1 gigabit per port. That doesn't necessarily mean that the service isn't useful. It just means that the maximum each machine is going to receive on a wired connection is 1 gigabit per port. And really, that's only addressing problem number 1. Okay, problem number 2. So I used a YouTube video downloader, not that I condone that kind of activity, but I went on my channel and I downloaded the first video that I actually did on Bell Fibe. And that video in 4K downloaded comes in at about 1.22 gigabytes. So let's calculate something.
2 plus 2 is 4, minus 1, that's 3, quick maths.
So to calculate 1.22 gigabytes in gigabits, we got to multiply that number by 8. So if we multiply it by 8, it gives us around 9.76 gigabits. So if the numbers are correct, this video at 9.76 gigabit should fully load on YouTube in anywhere between 3 to 3.5 seconds, give or take. Okay, so let's give that a shot. So wait, what's happening? Why aren't we already loaded? As a matter of fact, this seems very slow if my math is correct. So the math is actually correct.
Quick maths.
Except there's a few inherent problems with this whole premise of 3 gigabit internet. The first being that not many services can even take advantage of full gigabit internet connections, let alone 3 gigabit. Not to mention cloud services like Dropbox. 3 gigabit in theory should upload and download at a theoretical maximum of 375 megabytes per second. Yet, take a look at this. Sure, you can download games really fast on Steam, right? Or you could theoretically download games really fast on Steam. And Steam servers might very well support it, but does your gaming PC have a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection? If it does, well, I'll be honest, you're pretty lucky. But the majority of people are using gigabit Ethernet ports on their gaming machines, and they're quite happy with it. I mean, 2.5 gigabit is definitely making its way into more motherboards these days, but Bell didn't offer 2.5 gigabit, did they? They offered 3 gigabit. Oh, and as far as online gaming's concerned, listen, if you're on a 500 megabit fiber to the home plan, or you're on the 3 gigabit or even 100 megabit fiber to the home, you're not going to see any noticeable difference in game. Now, downloading games, that's a different story. Obviously, it's going to go a little bit faster on the faster packages, but response time in a game is not determined by your upload and your download speed. It's really how quick you can get to the server, which is usually measured by ping. So obviously, the lower the ping, the better. Fiber optic across the board, you usually get extremely low ping times, which is exactly what you want for online gaming. 3 gigabits not making a difference. So if that's your reason to upgrade, save yourself the trouble and the money. So who is this service for, and why did Bell even release it in the first place? Let's play a hypothetical. With all my 174 subscribers at this point, and new viewers, so if you're new here, by the way, I'd really love it if you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more interesting tech content. It really, truly helps the channel. And for my 174 subscribers I have now, thank you all so much. You guys are awesome. Okay, so for my viewers watching this, let's say I did a massive collaboration with a massive tech YouTuber, Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, or Linus Tech Tips, or Jay's 2 Cents, or Gamers Nexus, or any of these massive titans in the tech world. So let's say I did a video with one of them and I had to send them full quality video so that they can work with that, or they had to send that back to me. Well, what would be insane is if we all had 3 gig or more and we set up our server so you can directly connect. So say Linus or Marquez sent me like a massive file that they worked on for me to edit with, and I did the same to go back to them. That would be game changing. FYI, that 1.22 gig video that was compressed by YouTube that you saw that I downloaded earlier originally was 140 gigs in ProRes in 4K. That's ProRes 422. Content creators and video professionals alike, they're not going to want to work with that recompressed video. They're going to want close to the source material, and those files get pretty big. Okay, I'm sure that there are a ton of other use cases that I just can't think of outside of content creation. That's kind of the bubble that I live in, so that's the way I view this internet package. I mean, 3 gig is clutch for someone like me, maybe not me. I'm not even sure entirely if I'm going to keep it. But if you could think of other use cases that I'm just not thinking of, throw them in the comments. And I know there's going to be some of you that might throw comments down there that are like, oh, well, who needs an internet connection that fast? There are people out there that need it for specific workflows, and there are probably some wild ones that I couldn't even fathom. So again, throw them in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about that. So why did Bell even release this product? Well, here's a press release from TELUS in Edmonton deploying 2.5 gigabit service. And here's an article from Rogers offering 1.5 gigabit download and upload in their new fiber rollout. Bell was only offering 1.5 gigabit down and 940 megabit up as their maximum package as of last week. So to quote a member of the DSL Reports forum, and I'm gonna mess up the pronunciation, I think it's Avernar. So Avernar spelled it out with a fantastic perspective. Rogers has 1.5 gigabit upload and download. Bell also likes to be, quote, the fastest. Even though they don't compete with TELUS for landline internet, they most likely wanted to beat the 2.5 gigabit TELUS offers. Okay, what's the bottom line here? The bottom line is this is more a marketing ploy to flex Canada's fastest internet. And if I'm being real with you guys, majority of households in the country with a 500 megabit up and down connection on fiber to the home is probably even a little overkill. Gigabit is like cemented overkill. 1.5 gigabit in a normal household is ridiculous. And even with that $15 premium, which isn't even a lot of money to go from 1.5 gigabit up to 3, that in a normal household is stupid. Okay, so if you noticed, this video had the words part 1 because yes, I'm trying the service for the month, and I'll be honest, it hasn't been entirely smooth sailing. I figured having 1.5 gigabit with my setup that can support it, this would have been a walk in the park. Not the case. So if you want to get into the weeds, part 2 is going to be all the difficulties, but all of the pluses, and kind of a deeper dive as to how this service ended up playing out for me. I'm going to upload that video soon. In the meantime, I did a video documenting how to go beyond gigabit with Bell Fibe, and you can check out that video right here. My name is Sean. This has been Tech Mixer. I'm out.